Good morning, everybody. This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer?
And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Jen and I are actually on vacation right now.
Yes, we
We
are.
didn't want you to miss out on your weekly dose of marketing. So Jen's been rooting around in our archives and has found some of her favorite episodes. So which one are we going to share this week, Jen?
I think we should talk about recession proofing your marketing again. I mean, smart moves for tough times. I don't think we've quite moved out of that one. That was a great episode. So let's talk about that.
All right. So, guys, stay tuned. That's what we're going to see today. Good morning, everybody.
This is Jennifer.
And this is Lorraine. And we have been here before.
Yes, we
And,
have.
and I'm talking about the economy, and I'm talking about the fact that most of us, big businesses, small businesses, are looking around going, this is not good. Can I be an ostrich?
Mm-hmm.
Can I
Mm-hmm.
put, can I put my head in the sand? And you know what? The answer is no. It's not. This isn't the first time it's happened, and it's not going to be the last. We are going to have up and down economies. But if you're smart, the economy goes up and down, but your business doesn't have to.
There was a comment on one of your posts that I was like, oh, that's brilliant. I really like it. And it talked about like when the economy does go down, it's actually the perfect time to buy stocks because everything is lower and historically speaking everything goes up when we're talking about the stock market.
Mhm.
There's definitely ups and downs, but if you look at a longer trajectory then that, so you can look at that with your own marketing, and there are going to be people that are going to put their heads in the sand, but when they put their heads in the sand, that means there's less competition.
It actually creates opportunities for you. And so I really think, this is a great time to step back to do several things. Number one, to clean up your processes. If the phone is not ringing as much, look at where's the waste. Get efficient. Stop wasting time and money on things that are not productive. And sometimes this is hard because sometimes you suddenly realize that person that you think is a rock star and is always busy doing things that don't add value.
Yeah, and that's tough because busy feels good,
Mhm. But
but you gotta step back.
and really ask yourself, do I really need that report every week? Can I get away with that report once a month? Am I really changing my marketing, my activities? And if the answer is no, then dial it back and use the extra time to do something else.
Yeah.
Um, you have to ruthlessly review your marketing. We're not going to tell you, oh, just throw more money at it. No, invest wisely. And I think, Jen, you had just written this really good article where you sort of prioritized in a down economy, where do you start?
Well, marketing is content marketing. End of the day. And so I think, if you're going to invest in anything, you don't go quiet, you increase your content marketing. And when I'm talking about content marketing, I'm talking about, there are subjects, but you take one subject and you're doing it in a blog post, and you're doing it in graphics, and you're doing it in video, and you're doing it in audio, like, and you're across all that, like you double down, but you need to choose things that really speak to what's going on. Like, how can you help? How can you be of value when you give back on times like this? There are so many instances where brands, did decide to do that they came out ahead for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And though it's never too late to start content marketing, I'm going to tell you, if you have a good library as you're reviewing your processes, go back and look at what did people really connect with? What did they really enjoy? Do a roundup of full confession. You're going to see a newsletter from me, or you may see it before this conversation is live, about how to survive in a down economy. And one of the podcasts I'm going to be sharing is episode number 8.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on episode number 1100. And so the fact that something I was talking about in 2010 is still relevant, and I can use that content, tells you that there are opportunities to continue to build on what you've already built.
Yeah, I'm guessing that is going to be around the time of the '08, and what happened there. There's a couple stories that kind of go along that. Like during that time, Airbnb, stopped performance ads, during those or no, I'm talking about that. Actually, I'm thinking of the lockdowns. During the lockdowns, they focused on emotional brand storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up building that trust and launching a record-breaking IPO.
Absolutely. You know, an economy's role. So the bigger companies feel it first. And one of the things that starts to happen is companies dial back and start hiring smaller firms. And
Yep.
so at the beginning of a bad economy, smaller firms feel it. And then as the economy starts picking back up, that's about the time it really hits the smaller service firms. And so while all around us things were picking up in 10, a
Yeah.
lot of small marketing companies who had done okay in '08 and '09 started to feel like, okay, this is our turn. So
Yeah.
you have to look at the big picture. You got to look at what's going on in the news, and then you got to look at what's happening and what's going to affect your business, your industry, and when.
I'm obviously biased for a small agency, but I think there's another reason why a smaller agency is helpful, because there's a lot of tech that is changing extremely quick right now. And when you are a large company, it is very hard to be agile and to move
Mhm.
in a different direction. And when you're small, you can move pretty quickly and you get that personalized attention.
Absolutely. And speaking of personalized attention, I've created all my content,
You
and
got to get it out
now
there.
now I'm coming to you and saying, okay, I don't have time for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's going to be most effective in a down economy? What's really going to reach people and
hmm
grab them where they are?
So you've got to promote that content. And number one, your email. You own that list. It's one of the few things that you do, in fact, own. And those people raised their hands and they said they wanted to be on there. So once you've got that great content, you really got to double down on your email marketing efforts. And then my next one in line is going to be organic social media, because, when you think about in uncertain times, what are people doing is they're constantly scrolling social media. And so you've got eyeballs, that I think that is an excellent place to be as well, in different formats.
Absolutely. So I totally agree with you. I think that email is where you can have the most personal connection
Yeah.
without distractions. That's my big thing. When I'm on Facebook, there's always another video. When I'm uh, trying to get my message out on SEO, there are always other pieces of content and LLMs putting up summaries.
hmm
But email, that's you and me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to really beef up my email. I'm going to work on my content. Where else? And maybe get out of my comfort zone a little bit. Where else do I need to go?
Some of those things that I'm talking about really feeds a lot of the other items. So it's gonna feed, doing organic SEO. Now, if you have, as you had said pre-show, if you haven't invested in SEO already, this it's going to take you some time, in order to see results from this. So it's going to be 6-9 months down the road, but there's no time like yesterday to get started. And so I would definitely do that. And I would also take a look at what would be called like conversion rate optimization. So taking a look at your website and making sure your messaging is real clear. I know for us, one thing that we worked on was, well, why us? Like people are still buying, but they're just being real picky with where they're going. So we created this whole page of, how are we different? And so that really comes down to your unique selling proposition. And we created a whole page on the elevated approach and, what our approach is. And, I think those type of things would really help convert the traffic you have.
Absolutely. And I think you really kind of you kind of hit the nail on the head where you're refining your message. You're using this time to get clarity on who you are, who you want to serve. I'm going to say one last thing. I'm going to throw something out there which is going to make people in the audience gasp and possibly clutch their pearls. In a down economy, when things are cycling down, I want you to fire unprofitable clients. I know it sounds crazy, but hanging on to clients who aren't a good fit ultimately drag you down. They prevent you from clarifying what you do and focusing on really finding the people you want. So even though it's painful,
they're eating up your time.
And they may not be profitable, but the money is coming in. And so you think, okay, we got to keep doing it. So I'm not telling you it's not going to be bumpy for the next few months or possibly even year or two. It is. But it doesn't mean you have to get smashed up along the rocks as the water, whizzes by. You can navigate with a little planning.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is, from Rocky, and it's not about how hard you get hit; it's about how hard you can get hit and get back up and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. All right. So if you need a little help getting up and moving forward, reach out to Jen or I. We'd love to chat with you, and you'll find the contact info on the closing screen.
All right. Take care.
Bye now.